Hi, today I'm going to show you how to add a fabric ruffle to the bottom of another piece of fabric. It's a really easy process. This is an apron I just finished. It's a denim up here, and the piece was a little short, so I wanted to add some length, and I also wanted to add a little bit of color and interest to it. So I added this very simple ruffle at the bottom. It's a bold fabric, but if you notice, the ruffle is very subtle. I didn't want some poofy ruffle that stuck out and was real frilly. I'm not a frilly kind of girl. So anyway, like I said, this is really simple to make, and we can get started. You're going to need 2 pieces of fabric, and you're going to need lots and lots of pins. I have pins here and I have pins here. And the more you have, the better, especially if you really want a poofy ruffle. So you're going to put your fabric here. This would be the denim piece, and this is just a dark gray piece of fabric. Okay? And then you have this, which is going to be the ruffle, and it's like a coral piece. And you want to find the center, you want to cut this piece longer. The coral piece needs to be longer than the gray piece, because if it was the same length, of course, there wouldn't be any ruffle, there wouldn't be any gathers. So this one I cut about maybe 8-9 inches longer than the gray piece. On the apron it was about 4 inches longer, so it's a real subtle difference. You're going to fold this in half, fold both pieces, and find your center. And just put a pin in it and mark where that center is. This is really simple. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. This one, I think, let's see, we're going to fold this one and find the center here, pin it. Just gives you an idea of where to line up these fabrics. Okay, and you can see right here is where my center is. It was folded before on the shelf. So basically you want to line up just right about here. It does not have to be perfect. And you're going to put right sides together. So you're going to fold this one on top of this one. And you want to line up the edges of the fabric like so. Make sure it's nice and lined up. Okay, and then you're going to start pinning. And this does take a while. You want to pin your center first. Okay, and then I actually find it's easier to pin the other way, but for the demonstration I'm going to do it this way. You're going to bring this edge up and meet corner to corner, and you're going to pin that. Okay, and you're going to do the same with the other side. You can see this is going to be a much fluffier ruffle. I did not cut this fabric really evenly, but you get the idea. So anyway, you're going to pin corner to corner here. And then what you're going to do, and I'm going to actually just start with this side. This is the center. You're going to find the center, just estimate the center of this piece of pinned fabric. You can see here where it's been pinned. Maybe it's easier if I do it this way so the camera can see it better. And I'm going to guesstimate just around here, and you want to pin it in the center. You want to estimate the center of the gray and the center of the peach, and you're going to pin. Okay? Then you're going to, in this half, you're going to, again, sort of break it down, estimate the half of the gray and the half of this peach color. And you're going to see there's lots of extra fabric. This is, like I said, this is going to be a big ruffle. And I apologize for that background noise. My 2 dogs must have seen something outside. Again, you're going to find the middle of the gray. It does not have to be perfect. You're going to pin the center. See how you're just sort of forming these little ruffles here? And you're going to keep pinning. You really do have to pin a lot. Keep pinning like that. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Just keep pinning, because when you sew, it's going to form those ruffles. Let's see, we're going to try one more here. The more pins you can do, see how you can sort of see how it's sent. This is about equal to this size, and you're just going to pin. Alright, and if you can go ahead and pin some more. Okay, you're basically dividing this down further and further. It's be a good math lesson for an older child. And you just keep pinning until you're ready to sew. And you can manipulate it around a little bit with your needle. Again, it does not have to be perfect. That's the nice thing about ruffles, is they're very forgiving. Once they're sewn, you can sort of smush them around with your hand and they're good. See, here's another one. You push it down with the needle and you can sort of see where it's centered, the gray, and then this center piece here. And there you can see how the ruffle would start to form. Okay, I would actually probably go ahead and pin even one more time just to be safe, or to make over this one. You just use your pin to manipulate it around. You don't want to pin the fabric, the double layers. You just want to get that one layer of fabric. And basically, basically you would do this all the way across until the entire piece looked like this. And then you would go back and say, hey, you know what, I think I need a pin there too. I wouldn't mind another fold there. But you can see how you could go through a lot of pins really quickly. Once it's all pinned, and I'm not going to pin the whole thing for you, but you can see it sort of almost flattens it out. But this would be this. Again, this makes a really nice puffy ruffle. Once it's all done, you're ready to sew, and you're going to sew about a quarter into about an eighth inch. I'm sorry, not eighth inch, a half an inch, quarter to and a half inch seam allowance. Right along here, you want to back stitch here. Always back stitch. You don't want your hard work tearing out. And just all along the seam. This would, of course, all be pinned down. And now there are two schools of thought here when you're sewing it. Some people remove the pin before they get the needle over it. I do not. I just go really slowly and I'm careful and I pull them out. I do break my sewing machine needles every once in a while, but that's the way I've always done it, and it's just easy for me. So there you have it. That's how you pin and get ready to sew a ruffle onto a piece of fabric. And this is what it would look like when you're ready to sew, of course, across the entire piece, not just this one little corner. That gives you the idea. And then, once it's done, and again, this one is much more simple and not nearly as many ruffles as that one, the one is. But you can see where there's a nice little ruffle. Just adds a nice decorative touch to something that would be cute on a pillow, or maybe at the bottom of a skirt if you had a skirt that was a little too short and you wanted to add a little length. It's really easy to do, and you can just personalize all kinds of garments and that sort of thing. So thanks so much for listening.